Hello and welcome to Dog Hugs. Robbie, Geraldine, great to see you.
Hi, everybody. Great to see all of you. Hi, Spider.
It's National Dog Week, and Robbie, I know we've got something going on with your dogs today.
Oh my goodness! So you know we've got the puppy Archie, who is about 10 weeks old. You know, and Geraldine is walking me through how to house train him, and he's doing really well. But for probably about the last 18 or 20 hours, he is peeing about every 15 minutes, just little spots of pee all over. So I called my vet this morning because I said there's got to be something wrong. And because she knows that I really watch everything my dogs do, she's like, I'm not going to run through the list of questions, has he been scared? Has he eaten something? She said, because I know that you watch him like a hawk. So there I am in my yard this morning, running around underneath his tiny little poodle with a tiny little Tupperware dish, trying to catch urine. And I swear there was so much traffic, and I'm sure nobody noticed, but all I kept thinking about, they're going, why is this woman out there with a dish underneath her dog?
I have the visual.
Yeah, I want you to wear a chef's hat next time.
I should go deliver a tray of cookies to all the people that were looking. So
God bless you.
This morning I ran to the vet and dropped off the urine and told them, no, I don't want the bowl back. Feel free to destroy it.
Can you believe people want the bowl back?
Yeah, that's what she said. Do you want it back? And I was like, oh my God, no. She's like, some people do. It's like, no, I don't.
Crazy.
And then in about 20 minutes, I've got to leave to take our big golden doodle Murray to the vets because he hasn't eaten for a day and a half and he's been vomiting.
Oh. And
he's at the point now where there's nothing to come up. So it's just foam.
Yes. So getting him to the vet is crucial. And, this whole week was actually founded in 1928 to help people to do what they need to do to improve the lives of their pets. And Robbie, you always do. And Larry, you always do so much. You go way beyond to make sure your pets are taken care of. And at this point, I believe there's a little stress going on. Could be something else, but most likely some kind of stress issues, acclimating. Because when I brought home one of my puppies a few years ago, I had a different dog at my home and I brought home a new dog, and my dog said, I thought that one was just visiting. I didn't realize it was making permanent residence here. And then started puking all over my couch to let me know I don't want the dog here. So, the best thing to do is to just go in, see the vet, make sure all medical issues are okay. And then we go straight into and fix any of those that aren't, they're wonky, and then go straight into behavior and better acclimation. So
in the past, Murray's kind of had this before. I mean, he'll get on a chicken, cottage cheese, and rice diet. But there was one time with all the vomiting and not eating when he had to stay at the vet's because he was so dehydrated. So we can't, we don't want to take any chances because he is just not himself. And now it's pouring down rain, and I get to try and lug this close to 100-pound dog into my car because he doesn't like riding in the car.
My heart goes out to you.
You're going to be raining pets and dogs by the time you get there.
Well, we'll have some solutions for transporting pets into your car without getting as wet soon. So hang in there today.
Nice. So I guess the whole story was, with it being National Dog Week, it's like, we all need to pay attention to our dogs and know those little nuances. And I know that, all of the people that watch understand that. And I know you guys definitely understand that, but I can tell if my animals are feeling off like within a couple hours because they're just acting so weird.
Definitely. And if you know your pet, you can catch things very quickly. And that's why I never really encourage free feeding, because if you free feed, you really won't know if your pet has gone a long time without eating before you realize it. And then they may have something wrong that you could have prevented sooner. And there are many other nuances we'll go into later, but kudos to both of you for the hard work that you do to improve the lives of your pets. Definitely.
Thank you. And you as well.
That's true.
Everybody out there as well.
And being friends with your vet matters, because if your vet knows you well, then that relationship matters. If just like Robbie knows her vet well, her vet knows her well and knows her pets well, so that you can actually circumvent a lot of problems by having a great relationship with your veterinarian and your pet.
And it was a little hard with Archie, with him being so new. I mean, I've only had him 3 weeks. I don't understand all of the nuances.
Everything right.
When he was, like this close to asking to go out, and then all of a sudden he's like dribbling all over my house. It's like, there's
something's wrong. Right. So Larry has something really incredible in his hands right now that we cannot wait to share.
Also, to celebrate National Pet Week, R.L. Mazes and their publishers giving away her debut novel, Other People's Pets. And Robbie, what do folks need to do to have a chance to get one of these 2 books that we're giving away on behalf of this great author, R.L. Mazes? It's a wonderful novel, folks.
They have two ways to win. So we have a post on our Facebook page right now, and it's so simple. All you have to do is let us know why you want the book. You can just say, because. Or we also, if you want to tell us the name of your pets, we would love that as well. And then Friday, the contest is whoever's watching, if they can tell us the name of Larry's dog, then Larry's dog, Spider, is going to draw a random number, and whoever puts the correct name of Larry's dog named Spider into the comments on Friday, Spider is going to draw a winner.
So folks, again, it's really easy to enter to win a copy of this book on the Positively Wolf Facebook page. You can do this right now.
Right this minute.
Do they find this picture here, Robbie?
They find that picture, and it's pinned right to the top of our Facebook page. They don't even have to look for it.
You can't miss it.
Get that. So you can win by doing that, and then you can win by coming back on tomorrow's show, and we'll show you how to win again tomorrow. So by the way, speaking of really great authors, we have an amazing guest with us today. Brooks Elms is a screenwriter, as well as a friend of mine, and a creativity coach. He teaches screenwriting at UCLA, which is a small university here in Los Angeles.
Teeny tiny, barely even a speck.
Yeah. And right in the heart of the entertainment industry. But you're really going to enjoy this interview with Brooks Elms. And for National Dog Week, you're going to get to meet Brooks's new puppy. So welcome to Dog Hugs, Brooks Elms. And here we go, playing the interview.
Brooks Elms, welcome to Dog Hugs.
Like I just said.
Great to see you, my friend. Who you got there? This is Valerie. She's our new puppy. We got her, she's about a year old, and we just joined our family last week.
Last week. So she's been with you a whole week now. Does it feel like home for her, do you think?
I think so now. I mean, we had just gotten her fixed when she first came, and she had the cone on, and so she was slow moving and had a tough time the first couple of days. But we got the cone off a couple of days ago, and she's doing really well. We have another dog who's about twice her size named Rick, and they're getting along really nicely. And I mean, she was getting used to this potty training thing. Took her a little time. Well, she was fine with it. It was us that needed to learn how to work with her. But she's been wonderful. I feel really, really blessed to have her with us.
What sort of breed do you think she is? I'm thinking there's some terrier there, maybe some cattle dog or border collie or something. Hey, Geraldine, I got to ask you, what breed?
The shelter that it was a terrier mix, and I'm not sure what the other.
You're muted.
Her hair is kind of long and straight, so that's it.
What terrier mix?
So there's definitely a rat terrier, some kind of terrier, and I need to see a little bit more, but I'll definitely be able to give you. I was looking that up right now, so let me finish looking.
My family. I mean, I love dogs, but like one was plenty. I'm allergic, so
Well,
I
you're
really
for bringing Valerie over here right now. And
yeah. I had to have her come in and make an appearance. But so I like them. I like them a lot. No, they just I have two boys and a wife, and they love them. We have two cats and the other dog, but they were just they wore me down, and so and now we have Valerie.
hey, Valerie, where did you get her from?
Oh, we got her from the Inland Valley Humane Society in Pomona. Yeah, they're wonderful out there. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's quite a trip from you and I live close by one another. That's about an hour or so from here.
Yeah, it is. We'd reached out to a bunch of different shelters, and with our specific demands, we wanted something that was a terrier, so that the allergies would be less of an issue. Yeah, we were. It was a lottery situation, and we ultimately finally won the lottery with a sweet pooch.
That looks like a winner there.
Yeah, she's great.
Well, great to meet you, Valerie.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Valerie.
Oh, so cute.
So, let's talk about creativity. Legend has it you might know something about this topic, Brooks.
Yeah, I've thought about it a little bit here and there.
A little bit. Yeah, like your whole career.
Pretty much, yeah, my whole life, I think. So I was always sort of identified as a sort of creative person. I loved art class more than anything else. Always drawing and things. I was in plays and stuff growing up. And then when I was, I'm just adjusting my camera here. When I was 16 years old, a friend came up and said, "Hey, we're making a karate movie. You want to do this with us?" I was like, "Oh man, that sounds awesome!" So I joined up with those guys, and we made the karate movie. Then we made a sequel to the karate movie. And then we made like a western and a detective, all the sort of genres, and they were all terrible movies, but really goofy and fun and silly. And we ended up even probably made like 10 of those movies through the course of like my high school years. Eventually getting up to one that was an hour long, and we showed it in our high school auditorium. There's 100 people there. The mayor showed up. It was really we had in those days we had community access television, so they played on the community TV. So it was great. And then from there, I went to NYU Film School,
right,
and studied creativity at in a more formal way, and really sort of dug in deep.
Yeah. NYU Film School, as you know, I taught there as well. Did you have a favorite teacher there?
I did. I was most influenced by the legendary Boris Fruman.
Boris.
Yeah, he's
not a good teacher.
Yeah, he's very good. He's a good guy. So not only was he a spectacular instructor, I've used his accent in several of my screenplays. Anytime I have a character that needs to be either Russian or Eastern European, I just imagine how Boris would teach us about filmmaking, and I use that character's voice. So it's been very helpful on that level as well. But he was great. I actually put him in the movie. I made a movie right out of NYU when I was 22, and I put Boris in the movie. Is a cameo as
he acted on screen?
Yeah,
fantastic. He has been thanked in countless films.
Yeah, he's a real presence there, and he just, you know what it was, because the movies we'd made in high school were so silly and goofy, and there were these parodies, and one of the biggest things I got from NYU Film School was how to take the craft seriously, and certainly he was a very no nonsense guy. He actually had a good sense of humor, but in general he was so and he didn't like it when people didn't take it seriously. It's sort of a short temper in that sense. So I was, and then at NYU, I made a few different independent feature films. I was a writer, director, producer, and then as of maybe 15 years ago or so, I started mostly focusing on screenwriting. And I've written maybe 20, 25 screenplays.
That's fantastic. It's quite an output there. What drew you, say, to writing screenplays versus taking another track that you could have taken?
Oh, at that point in my life,
Yeah.
well, I remember when I got to high school, I just, well, oh shoot, I'm a junior in high school. What am I going to do afterwards? And I just said, well, there's nothing. I mean, I love sports. I love lots of different things. I have a lot of different interests, but there was absolutely nothing more engaging to me than making movies. Every facet of making movies was, and I said, that's it. So then, and that was it. I've never really looked back. I mean, I've done other things in between gigs because it's such a fluid business. It's a freelance
Absolutely.
business.
All creatives, I put it, we need to zigzag.
Yeah, that's right. But it's but my love for every facet of it is so deep and enduring that I did take a couple years off from the business, but even then I was watching movies. It felt like I just was I had to sort out some things personally, and I was studying psychology and personal growth.
Yeah.
And then took all that stuff and made it into a movie after I got done in that period.
What led you to the writing side?
Well, partly because I knew I could do it cheaper, and I could learn faster. The great thing about making independent film is you can just up and make it, right?
Yeah.
But it can be expensive. It can be it's a lot. But if you just have an idea and you articulate it on paper and you send it out and get feedback, that learning curve increases. So I got to a point where I was doing good work. I was writing stuff that was personal, and that people who saw it were like, "Oh, this is actually pretty substantial. It's good." But it wasn't really breaking through and crossing over. So at about that point in my life, I go, "Well, let me dig down a little deeper. What are they doing in Hollywood that's different?" So I started learning about Hollywood structure, and then I took my ability to write very personal material and then just basically translate into the language of broader storytelling. And that's when my career really took off. I ended up getting a lot of attention in town for my work, getting signed at UTA and selling scripts. So I've sold 3 at this point.
Congratulations. And I know you sold one earlier this year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was a script that that I'm really proud of. It was a personal script that was influenced by my own father and my relationship with my father, and what I liked about it, what I wished was different about it, and also how I've been a father to my own son. So, so it took that personal sort of vibe and authenticity, and I put it into a genre that I really love, which is this fight film genre. So
yes, yeah, that's been a passion of yours for a long, long time.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big sports fan in general. I played soccer at NYU, and I played sports my whole life. But I've also been a particularly strong fan of the UFC, and it's great because it's actually a UFC fighter who's a producer on the project that bought it. So that's been a lot of fun to become friendly with him on a personal level. I'm excited about that part. I think it's gonna be a good one.
Now, another big aspect of what you do is you help others become more creative, whether they're creative professionals already or emerging professionals.
Yeah, that's right. It's so I about 5 years ago I started teaching at UCLA's extension program, and I taught a story analysis class there and a story development class, one per semester, and it was fun. It was so fun. I'm still teaching there now. There's another class right now as well in the fall of 2020. I'll be teaching, and it was great. And yet I felt like it was a bit limited, and I kept, because I was helping people with these interesting theories on how to break down movies and things, but I felt like I was helping them kind of this much in their life, and I wanted to help them that much. How do I make a huge impact on them?
Yes.
So, and I was at the same time consulting one-on-one with some people, and also doing some group coaching calls, and it all finally came together with this this premier in-depth mentorship program. It's a 5-month program where I take a very small number of people and I work with them pretty much as they need me. So it's and we go through every facet of the game, from mindset, which is probably the biggest one, to crafting, what ideas to do next, how to structure it like professionals do. Once it's done, how to market it, how to socialize and get it out there, every facet of it so that they get to capitalize on my, decades of experience and basically in a very streamlined way get significant outcomes and move their career forward. I think if I had worked with somebody like me years ago, it would have moved me years ahead in like 5 months. So
I love how you've merged the creative with the practical. It's like, let's not just shape your idea into the best idea, but let's get her made.
That's right. No, I've always been that way. And I think it was because I started with my friends that were we were like, let's make a movie. It wasn't just like, oh, blah blah blah. It was like, no, let's actually do it. That was the fun of it. So I've always been a doer in that sense. And when I, a little bit like Boris, when I only work with people who are serious about the craft because it drives me crazy when somebody's not getting after it. Right? I can't, because I like to see results. I want to get results for them. I like results for myself. But what's interesting is the way creativity works. We can't be too tense about the results. The creative side is flowing. It's easy. It's no big deal. Whatever happens. So there's that sort of energy mixed with that part of, okay, how do we make it practical? How do we get real results? How do we manifest things to happen in the real world? So it's not just daydreamy. It's daydreamy and concrete.
I love how you're again merging the practical. I say greatness is easy, and it doesn't mean it's not hard work. It means that when I'm in that space of real creativity, there's an ease and a flow around it. And
Absolutely.
Results happen. And it's super a lot of hard work to get to that place.
Well, that's the part that I'm going to jump in on. I would invite you to consider this idea of hard work as sort of a more of an old school and potentially outdated way of framing what it is. I prefer the phrase inspired action, right? And it's kind of, we're messing with words here, but there's real value in that shift because think about the energy of hard work. It's like, I'm going to muscle through it. And it's hard to be creative when we're like this, right?
It's true.
If we're in inspired action, right, we're getting things done, things are happening, things are moving, it's that, but it's, so, and this goes from anything from like life things. Oh, you got to, set up your tax returns. You got to do this or that. And there's stuff we just sometimes don't want to do it. And if we approach that with this loose, open framing of, can I delay it until I'm inspired to do it, or, if you've delayed it as much as you can and you can't anymore, then it's like, okay, look, I can be late on my taxes and then owe a fee, and that makes me feel even more anxiety, or I can feel the joy of letting myself go through it, right? And it takes practice. I'm saying, but what I found is you're absolutely right that when I'm in flow and when things are creatively thundering through me, it's totally easy. It's almost like I'm not even doing it myself. It's like spirit or something bigger is speaking through me. And I can it's just there. To get to those places and to stay in those places more often, I actually find when you think of things and even speak of things in softer, more inviting terms, so instead of hard work, inspired action, time on task, passion, things like that, where you're covering the same ground, you have to get things done, but like the way you get things done will lead to more creative flow if you're flowing on the way to more creative flow, if that makes sense.
It does. We've also talked about in the past, Brooks, something else that you really turned me on to, and that's creative superpowers.
Yeah.
Say more about that.
Yeah. Well, that as a concept is really powerful for my own work that I've seen, and also all the people that I work with, right? Because what sets, well, and a wonderful thing about this too is one of the ways you can find your own superpower is paying attention to the TV shows and the movies and the things you like the best. What sets your heart on fire? What's a sort of show or movie or whatever that you can talk about and you just love. It melts your heart. It's amazing. That sort of energy is available to you to create in your own work. And when you create from that place, that sensibility, it really is unique to you. And from that comes your superpower. And when we have your superpower,
I'm reflecting on myself here that I've always enjoyed variety shows like Tonight Show, you know? When I was allowed to stay up late enough to watch it, or when I was a little kid, there was a show called Ed Sullivan where the Beatles first appeared. And those were my favorite shows. And, you know, my vision for Dog Hugs is in creating that into a variety show.
And I think, and I see your superpower here in the show coming through in space. It feels like that. It feels the joy that comes through in this is real. It's authentic, and that's something that you have to be open to your superpower. You can't be like, I'm supposed to do blah blah blah. No, spirit is speaking through you, and that's where it comes from. And when we're open to that sort of thing, the joy, the passion, and the quality of what you're doing, it goes to another level. And so this having an awareness of an idea of your superpower and being able to articulate it is something that's so useful when you're in a place where you want to make a lot of progress in your career, because it becomes like a tuning fork. Sort of like, what project should I do next? And then you can go, well, I'm thinking about such and such. And then you kind of hold up your tuning fork of your superpower and go, oh yeah, that's exactly it. That's totally from my superpower. That's exactly the sort of thing I could do next. Or it's like, that feels like it's a little different. And it might be an expansion of your superpower, doing something that's adjacent, that's fine. Or it could be something that's really just off and you may like it, but it's not really your gift to bring to humanity. And a lot of times, of course, people are drawn away from their superpower because they have this idea that, oh, if I do this, I'll make money and I'll get this and that. And look, there's times when it really is the least resistance to actually take some sort of job or whatever that gets bills paid so you can have some breathing room and move forward, right? That's part of it.
I know all of those tensions that you described, the wanting to make money, the needing to make money, you know, the compromises, the doubts, you know, and I love how you articulate that in this system.
Yeah, the management of doubts might be one of the biggest gifts I give to the people that I work with, because there's this sense of, oh, well, I've been thinking about this for so long, I shouldn't have doubts, or I shouldn't be afraid, or why am I feeling afraid? And the more that I can support my clients in being at peace with that and recognizing the doubts for what they are. And oftentimes you can have a dialogue with your doubts, or you can sort of recognize that, oh, in a way, this is the villain of my screenplay speaking out.
That's juicy.
Yeah, you can personify that exact fear in what your antagonist does to stop your hero in the third act or whatever. So my villain would be well, so it's a little bit different with you because your entertainment product is this it's a variety show, right? You have a variety of people coming in and dogs and things. So it's different than a specific narrative.
Oh,
but if you were to write a narrative of that was sort of adjacent to the awesome work you're doing here.
Yeah, and I do love writing narrative. I don't do it as much as I'd like.
Well, if you go in that direction and you feel resistance along in that process, I would invite you to say, is there an aspect of this resistance? Maybe you're procrastinating, maybe you're rushing through it or something, or maybe you're whatever. There's all sorts of different ways. But if you kind of notice that, part of me wants to get this thing done and part of me is not doing it. How am I resisting? That absolutely could be the quality of your antagonist in that actual piece, and then you can learn from it and put it in there.
I am going to have to get back to you on this. This is worth pondering on.
It's interesting.
Relit.
Yeah. So but to bring it to your actual situation for this show, Yeah, I would imagine as you expand and as you help more people with your message and your energy with this, there are moments where you're feeling fears, you're feeling, oh, I can't do that, or I can't have this guest, or you know, and that along those lines, it's sort of the same thing. It's a matter of recognizing that, you know, oh, I'm ready to expand, but I'm feeling some anxiety or whatever, and then just gently working with yourself so that it's not that gentle self dialogue is really a way of keeping you closer to your flow more often. It's when we're harsh with ourselves or we're judging ourselves, where there's expectations that are from who knows, you know. It's really about smart expectations, inspired expectations, right? And that's the way to sort of really embrace that creativity more often and more deeply.
You know, you really raise a good point there, Brooks. Initially, I was shy of going to people, say, across the pet industry, for example, and have them be guests on the show. And it really wasn't until Geraldine, my co-host, came on board, and the three of us with Robbie really started realizing, oh, we really do have a little show here. What started off as a response to COVID has become a thing, you know?
And one of the ways I might have, if you had that conversation with me, I might have said was, well, let's talk about your love for the Ed Sullivan Show, right? How much, because when you started talking about it, you lit up. You were like, oh, I love this, and that joy. So if you are pitching an expansion and you're feeling nervous about your actual show, you can slide right into what you already love and is already. So I've got this idea for a show, and it's similar to what I love about the Ed Sullivan Show, which I love this, and I love that, and I love the other thing. And here's my version of that with dogs and this and that. So now you've leveraged that energy that's easy to access, and you just let it spill over very organically into your own.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. What a gift you've given me.
You're welcome.
As we wrap up this conversation, is there another take home that we want to get to? How can folks get in contact with you or learn more about your work?
The best thing for people to get in touch with me is probably go to my Twitter account, at Brooks Elms on Twitter, and see lots of my posts that really give you a sense of where I come from, where I work with people, and then there, or they can, through there you can get in touch with me, and then I can email it too.
Fantastic. Yeah. We love to give shelter shout outs on this show. And I have a clue which is going to be your shelter shout out, Brooks.
That's right. The Inland Valley Humane Society in Pomona.
Yay, Valerie. Valerie from the Valley.
That's right. Big, lots of appreciation for them delivering our new dog to our family. We're very happy to have her.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Brooks Elms, this show is really about blessings and gratitude. Is there somebody in your life or in the world today who you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I think I'll give a shout out to my father, and because my father was the inspiration for that screenplay that I sold this year, and it was it was a really wonderful experience writing that with him in mind, because I'd had a lot of mixed feelings about my relationship with him, and so and having put that all into a screenplay in a way that's really personal but also broad. I'm proud of myself, and I'm excited that it got sold, and it's probably going to be in production next year. So I feel a lot of joy, and so shout out to my dad.
Amen. Yeah, beautiful. Well, Brooks Elms, it's great to see you, my friend, and great to have you here on Dog Hugs.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here. A lot of fun, Larry.
Well, that was super great. Thank you again, Brooks Elms.
Isn't he fantastic?
So what kind of dog is this?
So I'm going to guess that it's either a rat terrier mixed with a chihuahua, or it might even be a wire-haired mixed with a rat terrier, a wire-haired rat terrier with a chihuahua. I was looking up on my phone different head shapes with those mixes to make sure, because she has a longer snout.
Yeah.
She also has a little bit of an underbite. So I know there's probably at least 2 to 3 mixed in there, most likely 3. So I'm thinking rat terrier, long wire-haired rat terrier, a rat terrier, and a chihuahua. That would be my guess.
All right,
Or
you heard it first on Dog Hugs. If you're watching right now, Brooks, you heard it.
and also, I'd love to see some more video. That always helps me because there are breeds that have certain movements or certain habits, and I can always choose something, little nuance to help open up another idea of what could possibly be in that mix.
Yes. So again, folks, to celebrate National Dog Week, we have the big book giveaway, Other People's Pets. And so just look for this picture on the Positively Woof Facebook page and put a note there, and you'll automatically be entered in the giveaway contest. And then tomorrow, we're going to give away another copy of the book. And R.L. Mazes herself, the author of this fine book, will be with us to help do that giveaway. Very excited about that.
Very exciting.
Geraldine, shelter shout out.
Well, of course, especially during National Dog Week, I'm going to go straight to Pet Orphans because I'm so proud of their work with Spider and your work with them. Then I just think that's tremendous. And I also wonder if Spider doesn't have a little bit of rat terrier in him, because I was looking up blue heeler rat terrier mixes, and there's a possibility that he is part rat terrier.
You know, I've never gotten a DNA test, but it makes a lot of sense.
He's a little smaller.
Chris and Suhei Parandi, good friends of the show, and my partners on the Big Book of Tricks for the Best Dog Ever.
Yes.
If you look closely in that book, one of their dogs in there is a Whippet rat terrier, and this is Chappie, and also a dock diver. So
it's possible.
Very well could be. Yeah. Celebrating National Dog Week, Geraldine. Gratitude. Who's on your heart today?
So educators are on my heart today, including our Brooks Elms, our own Brooks Elms today, who's an educator. You are an educator. Robbie's actually an educator, and all of the dog trainers, all of the educators, regardless of which type of animal you're training, including children and school, colleges, programs, whoever's out there educating, thank you for all you do. It's not easy right now to navigate this new system and having to reframe how you were doing things before. That took some resiliency. So I'm really grateful for all of those that have been really working hard to make this transition seamless through education, and it's really important.
What a beautiful thought. Who's on my heart and on my mind a lot right now is my brother Paul, who has a building in Phoenix, Arizona, which you've probably seen on the news, was just devastated by those fires. And he and his son were up the greater part of 2 nights in a row battling fire. And fortunately, they were able to save the 3 new buildings that they had just finished building, literally this past month. And but unfortunately, the 2 older buildings on the property perished. So I'm thinking of Paul and Rafa and their families, and really all the people of Southern Oregon who are really going through some very, very rough times right now. Yeah.
God bless them, and whatever we can do to help.
All right, folks. Well, come again tomorrow. Do the thing. Get the book. It's fun.
It's a great book.
All right. Thank you again, Brooks Elms, and we'll see you all again tomorrow on Dog Hugs.
Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.